Greetings and salutations, YouTube. We're back here again doing some network testing, and I'm back inside of my least favorite spot to come into because this area is the most problematic for cell phones that I've seen in a long time. And sometimes I have to charge my car in here, but to give you the lay of the land real quick, as you can see, you would think that this area would be pretty good for radio frequencies to come into because you get a lot of light coming into this garage. But it's actually one of the worst that I've seen in the city, besides being inside of a totally enclosed area. So let me show you where I am. I did a video showing all three before, and this is where I'm currently sitting at, just outside of Georgetown at the Safeway. And this Safeway is very unique. It's a Safeway with a garage over top. I mean, a garage underneath, sorry. And the grocery store sits on top. Well, with that combination, you don't get very good RF. And when I come here to supercharge my car, you start feeling that. So all my cell phones start acting weird, especially inside this garage. And I've gone all over this garage short of sitting in a spot, taking up a supercharging spot, and the RF is all over the place. And I want to show the reason why it's all over the place. So I gotta do some test runs. But first, I've been requested to test my iPhone in here also. Let's just start using my iPhone a little bit more. I just got it finished paid off, and I can finally put, other carriers on it. So I want to show what other carriers look like. So right now I have on the screen is AT&T and Verizon. So I want to show you what, let's see, who I got first. I got AT&T up first. And one of the things I've noticed is the iPhone handles RF a lot differently than Android phones. This could be a start of another series where some people really are going to want me to do Android versus iPhone. I can see why a lot of people love their iPhones for the most part. It works good in low RF situations, where my Android phones work well in more high-speed networking situations. So I get a lot more throughput on my Android phones, but I do have an iPhone for those who are curious. So with the AT&T, it was 62.1 down and 30.32 up. And then we're gonna do that real quick. And while I'm waiting for that to go, let me switch to Verizon. It's a whole long process just switching between networks. Android made it a little bit easier, but let's see, give me 1 second. And switch to business. In airplane mode. And then make sure that it's actually functional. I gotta probably close out the app too. No. That's weird. All right, airplane mode. Again. And I'm still in AT&T. Well, let's do it again real quick so there's no dead screen. And while that's doing that, troubleshoot why I am not able to switch networks. Cellular. Oh, business. Okay. I'm a rookie iPhone user. Sorry, people. I don't normally use my iPhone. I had to go and dust the phone off. It stays at home most of the time. I either use it to make my videos or it just sits. So here we go. And the speed testing app doesn't want to switch either. There it is. Let's back up. So this is what I've discovered using my iPhone on Verizon, which this is a test drive for both AT&T and Verizon, is that the RF works better in low RF situations like what I'm currently in right now, being sitting inside this garage. 55.4 down. We got 85.2 down on coverage maps, and 1.67 up on Verizon. So let's see what it looked like on speed test for these two. And then I'm going to drive out of this garage up top and do the rest of the testing. And as we've been sitting here, Verizon's on band 2, AT&T is on band 66. 115 RSRP with a negative 11 RSRQ. And then we got 107 RSRP and a negative 15 RSRQ for band 2. So that tells you exactly how bad the signal is inside of this garage, and that performance of how bad the signal is inside this garage. Hit it one more time. So we got 81.6 down, 2.62 up, 88.8 down, and 3.48 up. So let's go ahead and move. All right. And we're moving. Now, this does have a double garage. It has a little bit of a garage up top, but the majority of the garage is actually underneath. But they have like a little sliver up top, so you can load your groceries in and don't have to take the elevator down. So we're going up to the top level because the RF is way better up top than it is down low. And I should be able to show that in the video. But also, while I'm getting ready to set up for this, remember you can get these test tries and test trials through the respective apps. So download like the T-Mobile app or the Verizon app or the AT&T app, and especially on the iPhone, I didn't think it was going to be that seamless. Just download it, try the free trial, and then that way you can try out the networks. Maybe you might not even think about switching. You might just be like, hey, I just want to see what it looked like at my local grocery store. But let me show you where I am. All right, so we're outside. This is what it looked like. Just a reminder, over in this direction is where the vice president's residence is. So there's no cell signals. Well, there probably are RF coming from this direction, but there's not enough towers coming from this direction here. There's an antenna cluster over there, sitting on top of the building. So just to give you the lay of the land. All right, here we go. We're gonna do this again. It's getting a little chilly outside. So Verizon greatly improved, as you can see. Band 66, negative 106. Inside the garage, it was negative 114. The RSRQ is still kind of bad. It's not as good as it could be, but that could be because there's multiple buildings. I'm sorry. There's multiple buildings in the way of me, of that antenna cluster. AT&T, roughly about the same. They switched to band 30 at negative 102, and the RSRQ is still negative 17. And back up for a second. And pull up the iPhone. All right, so here we go. So roughly about the same. 154 on my Android phone and about 134 on the iPhone. The upload went up. Android had 11.5 up. The iPhone had 8.92 up. And then you gotta do a whole rigmarole for the iPhone, switching to AT&T, Cellular. Primary, cellular data, secondary. Go on to business. Business. This is my first time really using my iPhone like this. Close out the speed testing app and reopen it. Oh, I did something wrong. Business, there we go. And AT&T, well, it's supposed to be AT&T. Sorry people. I don't use my iPhone very often. But let's do this while I'm waiting. Imperv. iPhones are complicated. I don't know why y'all think these things are easy. Cellular data, business, default voice line, business, airplane mode. And I need to show AT&T, so that was cellular and secondary. That might be the problem. Airplane mode off. AT&T. All right, so let that finish, and I'll show AT&T's RF on the iPhone. After this finish, AT&T lost connection here. And Verizon is still going. Let's see, does it lose connection here on the iPhone at the same time? That's the funny thing about AT&T. You get the same RF inside and outside. So you're not really drastically improving coming from out of a very bad radio frequency dead zone. And this garage is a radio frequency dead zone. All right, so AT&T gives us 122 down and 6 up. But it did not finish Imperv. And Verizon improved greatly, being the fact that we're not inside the garage. 229 down and 23 up. That's going to be due to the fact that, number one, we're not in a very bad RF zone. Number two, it comes from the fact that Verizon does have a better density network here. I'm starting to see more and more that AT&T has not densified in DC. So that's why we're seeing big differences. And last but not least, all right, PUBG. PUBG. We're going to install over the network. 1 gig file. 3, 2, 1, go. I should get better at this. I don't use my iPhone as much. Normally it sits on the charger at home, but I got to dust it off for this next 30 days since I'm doing the test drives. I have a test drive on my iPhone. Primarily, it's normally on T-Mobile. That's where I got the phone through. But right now, I got a test drive on AT&T and Verizon on this phone. So, let's see, 36 to 25 Verizon, 43 to 29 Verizon, 47 to 34 Verizon. Verizon's not pulling away like I would think. AT&T is still hanging in there. 62 to 45. 82 to 52. 90 to 59. 100 to 65. Well, there you go. So in bad RF situations where I got to charge my car up at this location, depending on where I'm at inside this garage, I get signal, I don't get signal. the performance sucks, it's terrible, and then I might get a stall where I'm charging and I might end up getting good throughput. So this is where I'm telling customers or telling people that urban environments, the density in buildings of all things help with our retaining RF inside of closed environments. This garage is way bigger than the last one I was in, so you would think that this would be a better test case, but it's worse in comparison to the last garage that I was in, where I know would charge my car up. But thank y'all for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what your experiences are inside of different hard to reach places, maybe inside of a building or your favorite restaurant or something like that. Let me know how what normally happens with you and your phone. But I'm trying to incorporate the iPhone in while I still got these test drives and knock the dust off. But thank y'all for being patient with me, and y'all have a good one.